What is going on, and welcome to another episode of Meeting Aidan Gilligan, whatever you want to title this interview session. I am Jeffrey Hack, the host of Jeffrey Hack Music, and with me is Aidan Gilligan. He is a drummer and a man of all sorts of talents. In this video, we're going to be talking about the story between Aidan and I and how we brought a band together, in a sense, what kind of happened to that band, and where things are standing now. We're not going to get too involved with personal things, but we're going to tell you the simplistic version of how everything came to be and how Aidan and I reunited. We hadn't seen each other for like 3 or 4 years, and then suddenly Aidan gives me a call, and then the rest is history. So tell me, Aidan, can you start off the story? How did we reconnect after all the years that we've been apart?
You don't want to start with like where we met?
I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
So we met in college where I dropped out. Before I dropped out.
I hadn't known he dropped out either.
We were in I know. I really dropped off the face of the earth.
You did.
But no, we were in the same dorms. You were like 2 doors down. Art dorms. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Graphic design and film
production.
Film production.
Same dorm, same hallway, different rooms.
Nothing crazy really happened. Yeah. We just talked a lot and then stayed in touch.
Yeah.
Good friends.
You had a different body type back then in ROTC.
I know, yeah. I had washboard abs. I had the like arrow pointing to my dick. It was great. Yeah, and then I dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Which
was okay. That happens.
Unfortunate.
And then I don't think we talked until I came back to Arizona.
Did you hit me up like as soon as you came back to Arizona, or like
it was it was relatively soon because I came back a couple of times because I left.
You and Rachel had been together for like 1.5 years before you and I even connected again.
That's not true. Maybe like 6 months.
6 months, okay.
Maybe a year. Not even that.
Would you like to attest to this?
I feel like you met
Rachel.
I know, I'm staring her.
No. We met in December of 2020. We reconnected December 2020. I do know the story because I was going through a rough time with another YouTuber, which I'm not going to say in this video.
I know.
Yeah, because almost every one of you guys would know this person.
I was going back and forth because I was in North Carolina and I was in Washington. I was in North Carolina and I was back in Arizona, and then I went back to Washington and then I came back here.
You following these guys?
Yeah, make friends everywhere. You get free places to stay. But yeah, I came back, started working, and then I met Rachel, and then I met Juan, and that was kind of the start of the search, is what I call it. I had been composing small things on the piano from because I don't play piano well, but I know enough, and I know chord progression enough to make all the melodies.
Yeah.
So I was writing my own stuff and trying to put melodies to it, but I never had like a real good bass line or chord progression. It was just more the cherries on top. And then I met Juan, and he was like, "Oh, you play music?" Because he saw my piano in the apartment, and I was like, "Yeah, man. Do you play anything?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm a piano player." And I'm like, "A good one?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's a very good piano player.
That's right, Juan. You are.
And I was like, "Okay, well, like I wrote this. Could you like add to it?" And I played him "Friends in My Head."
Oh my gosh.
The riff that I wrote.
Yeah.
And sang it to him, and he was like, "Oh, I got an idea." And then he just made it come to life. And I was just like, "What the hell? Where did you come from? We should write something." And he was like, "I'm down. I love music." And I went and saw his piano, and his piano's ridiculous. And then I was like, "We should really make this a bigger thing if you're down." And he was like, "Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you know people here that play music?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got someone in mind. Hey, Jeff, do you want to get coffee or something?" Like,
so if this thing didn't even happen, if the band never happened, he and I wouldn't have connected again. Kinda. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
That's not true. I probably, honestly, thinking back on it, if I didn't get started with Juan, I probably would have circled back to music eventually because of Frank, because he introduced me to Crass.
Really?
Yeah. And that's when I was really like, it's about time. I just jump into music. And then I probably would have been hitting you up from there. So Juan is objective. It's subjective too. That's the right term, right? Subjective to me reconnecting with you. I don't know whether he was there or not, we would have reconnected eventually.
Yeah.
It might not have happened as soon.
Yeah, it might not have. It's a good thing it did happen, though. Now,
Absolutely.
Continue the story. What happened when the band formed?
Yeah, so you came in. I played drums on a makeshift drum set. You remember that?
Yep, when we first started.
Because I didn't have a drum set. Well, I did. It was just in Washington, and it's an acoustic. And when you live in the city, you have to have an apartment. And if you have an acoustic drum set in an apartment, you're a dick. So that didn't happen. So I just didn't have a drum set, and I was like, you guys got to come in. Like, you got to meet this guy because he plays piano, like, phenomenally, and I know you play guitar and you write your own stuff. And I was like, I write my own stuff. It's like, we could do something. Let's just jam. And then we started working on Little Brother.
Yeah, that was such a good song.
And it was all right. It was coming together, and we were figuring it out with my trash can drum set. Then we were like, all right, cool. I got a drum set, an electric one, so I wouldn't piss off neighbors.
It's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, once I had the electric drum set, I was like, all right, let's like make this a thing. You guys all show up.
Yeah.
And then we talked about names, and we worked to Early Sunrise.
Yeah, we did.
Which, honestly, Early Sunrise, not my favorite name.
Okay.
Was not my first choice. However,
it was my choice.
However, the art that we made for it, I loved.
Yeah.
We had some
He wanted the band to be called Stop Sign for some reason. Stop Sign or Stoplight. And I'm just like, what?
Stoplight.
I'm just like, what?
I just...
Okay, comment down below. What do you think? Does Stoplight sound like a good band name? Like,
I was going off of, like, punk. I was like, it's going to be punk alternatives, and Stoplight sounds. It's catchy. It's 2 syllables. It's short and sweet. Early Sunrise just sounded so long, which is obnoxious because Panic at the Disco is a whole ass.
Is it even Panic at the Disco, or is it just Brendan Urie at the disco? Like,
correct. But yeah, and then we made Early Sunrise. And then we brought in my buddy Waz to play bass, and that was a catastrophe.
what? Did I ever meet Waz?
Yes, because he played bass with us.
Oh, wait.
He was Waz, phenomenal bass player. However,
He was.
He was. No, his name's Ryan, but we call him Waz. Phenomenal bass player.
Okay.
The catastrophe was just like he completely different genre. It is very difficult to get a metal rock and roll bass player to play indie, jazz, alternative, whatever.
It's true.
You wish.
It's a completely different style.
It was different. It wasn't meshing up. He wasn't having fun, which I imagine is fine. Because who was the piano player though?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah said something that I relate to 100%. If you don't like the music you're playing, and you're just playing it to play it, it is gonna be awful.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awful for you. It's gonna be awful for the listener. Because I feel like listeners can tell when your heart's not in it.
Yeah, exactly. Half the reason why all Queen songs were as cool as they were. Yes. Because they were all in it.
My homeboy Freddie Mercury.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, no, Waz came. He played with us, and we're like, all right, great, but are you having fun? He said, hell no. I said, all right. No worries, love you. And then we were like, screw it, let's put a schedule together and let's practice.
Yeah.
Weekly.
Yeah.
And we busted out maybe, 15 original songs. A Little Brother, Friends in My Head. We had Believe.
Oh, yeah, I played that song. I forgot.
We had... You wrote like 4.
Yeah.
I wrote like
Yeah.
8. That's less than 15. But we had a lot.